Good news of conservatism, for it is the power of liberation, first to the Republican and then the socialist. Oh, I'm loving this groove. Oh, listen, Mary Brockman's loving the groove too. No U Street. Yeah, and we're coming on live now. We're coming on live now. I'm so sorry we're a little delayed. Mary Brockman's my bouncer. If you diss her, you diss me. You will be dismissed. Uh, uh, Professor Tarik Oduno will be with us tonight. We'll be talking about Benjamin Banneker in his letter to Secretary of State Thomas Jefferson, how we might see the origins of conservatism for urban America in that. Yes, yes, yes. In the 10 o'clock hour, we'll be talking with the Bloviating Zeppelin, Sir Mark. He shall join us. God bless his soul. And we have a very special treat for those who are following along at home this evening. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we have a treat for you. We're going to release the newest hostess of TECN.BIZ. I am so looking forward to introducing her to the world. That's coming up, and I'll let you know more about it as we go on. But I have to do this right here. Kick it! We gotta let the kids lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance to the United States of America. You know how the kiddies do it. They be kicking the groove, praising the pledge. Take your right hand, put it over your heart, take your hat off. Let us digress. Woo! That's what I'm talking about. Let the kiddies lead them. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let us bring on our great guest for this particular evening, a man of great reason and strength, and not only of basketball fame, but certainly a man of great historic content, none other than Professor Tarik Oduno. Uh, Bringing him on right about here. Right about here. It was a great pleasure meeting him and greeting him at the Nanny Helen Burroughs honoring.
Great day, great day.
Great day and good evening to you, sir. Professor Tarik Oduno is with us tonight
Yes, Brother
live
Ken.
from the nation's capital. So glad to have you on the air with
Yes.
us, sir.
Well, it's great to be graciously considered, Brother Ken.
Well, listen, it was very easy to consider. Listen, I consider you and Colonel Jim White icons. Um, you're, I mean, if I were to sit at your feet for 15 minutes, I would, it couldn't possibly conceive the entirety of your length of knowledge and his as well. You all are just geniuses and great fighters for history as it should be considered. Professor, I saw you at the event where the Military Road organization was honoring
Yes.
Nanny Helen Burroughs, and I
Oh,
want
yes,
you,
sir.
I want you to give
No doubt
people.
about it.
It was wonderful having you there and being able to speak. But I want you to give people an idea of Nanny Helen Burroughs and how she could possibly impact America today.
Well, first of all, wonderful listening audience and sober people of sober thought, I would first like to say, since we are right off of the Mother's Day salute, even though we impact our mothers as well as our dads 24/7, 52, 366 days of the year. However, since we're talking about Nanny Helen Burroughs, I salute my mother, and I salute the Honorable Daisy Wise, the Colonel's mother, and I will salute the rest of the mothers who are out there in the audience. And we're not just talking about people who have babies through their wombs. We're talking about women who have character.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How we come to Nanny Helen Burroughs, and we just like to say is that she just didn't come out of Puff Goes the Weevil.
Yep.
She came from parents. She came from parents who had some strong underpinnings of character, of fortitude, of integrity. And we'll unpack that. But integrity is just this: is that even when you're seen or you're not seen, when you're by yourself or not by yourself, you will show golden, and you will not show lead. I hope you feel me out there, people.
Mm-hmm.
Her mother was wise enough, from Farmtown, Virginia, to bring her here when she was 5 in 1883, though she was born May the 2nd, 1879. And if you're thinking about the 1879, that was a period right when there was a lot of things going on, and we had just had the Civil Rights Act of 1875 that was passed, that was open accommodation, but we were less than 4 years from the repeal of that in 1883. But Dr. Burroughs, I mean, when you think of when she came to D.C., and many people talk about the Dunbar High School, but I would like to come a little bit earlier than that, and that's called the M Street School for Colors, which was established in 1872. And if you had teachers like that today, who not only had a profession, but who had a calling. I mean, we know of some of the people like Mary Church Terrell, who was a profound. I know you people use your rights, but I'm going to tell you we use human rights, because human rights are nature's law. They are God-given rights, and they follow the duties and the responsibilities of a human being. And Nanny Helen Burroughs graduating from that school, and she was so profound. She graduated in, some of us consider it in an infamous year. She graduated, but it wasn't infamous for her. It was in 1896. That was Plessy versus Ferguson, separate but equal. And she graduated not only in the academic area, but she also graduated in the domestic area. She got double for her brilliance.
Wow.
And so when she eventually was attempting to teach at the school, for some reason, I don't want to get into that too much, but we got a brown paper bag. It hasn't not gone all the way even 2017. We're not going to spend a lot of time on that, but what we are going to spend time on, what she did. She left here, and let's kind of back up a little bit, okay?
Yeah.
She was 21 years of age in 1900 in Richmond. And we're still trying to thrash out, how did this 21-year-old woman, single, get on the platform and speak to a men's conference predominantly influenced and organized and ran. And her subject was why the sisters are hindered from helping. Did you hear me? Sisters are hindered from helping. And what she was really saying to us was that we do the work that you want us to do, but there is other work that we need to do. And because she being within the kingdom of God, of Almighty God in Christ Jesus, it was not told to Simeon that he was not going to die until the Savior arrived. That Anna the older woman as well as Simeon.
Mm-hmm.
It was not the men in the New Testament, y'all. And for those who don't go along there, just go along with us. It's the New Testament as literature, not as doctrine. You feeling me?
I'm feeling you. Listen, we gotta go to a quick break. Professor, and I'm so glad you're here with us tonight. Professor Tarik Oduno is with us. We are celebrating this week the great Nannie Helen Burroughs. There's a special event coming up on Saturday here in Washington, D.C. for Nannie Helen Burroughs, along with another major event at the White House. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want you all to get the understanding of the power of conservatism, where you came from. Nannie Helen Burroughs, and when we come back, we're also going to talk about Benjamin Banneker and his letter to the Secretary of State, Thomas Jefferson. We'll be right back right after this break. You're listening to the Exceptional Conservative Show live from the nation's capital. That's Washington, D.C., ladies and gentlemen. For more of the best of urban conservative talk, stay tuned.
Now, at Brownells, we know you may have only one shot to harvest that trophy, so we have thousands of accessories and replacement parts to improve your chances. We know how much you love to shoot, so our gunsmiths articles and videos will help you do more and get more out of your guns. We also value your hard work and money. That's why only Brownells backs up everything we sell with a 100% unconditional lifetime guarantee. Brownells, the world's largest supplier of firearm accessories and gunsmithing tools.
It's a love story like no other. From God's heart to yours. And for 30 years, it's been at the heart of every book, Bible, CD, gift, and resource from ChristianBook.com. Over 500,000 products, always at the very best value. ChristianBook.com. Everything Christian. Because it's our story, too.
Meet Jason. He was really excited to start growing his business with social media.
Yeah, hang in.
How complex and time-consuming social
We'll be back in
media
about
can be.
1 minute, 30
It's
seconds.
difficult to manage multiple social networks and accounts. It's hard to monitor what's happening on social media, follow discussions, and engage with new followers. It's time-consuming to publish updates throughout the day, track and analyze how effective posts are, respond to fans and followers in a timely manner, and gain new customers. The list seems to go on and on. Jason quickly becomes discouraged. How could he ever do all of this and still run a business? He was ready to give up on social media until he found eClincher, the easiest way to manage social media. Jason was amazed how straightforward and simple it is to use eClincher. With eClincher, Jason is now able to leverage the power of social media without having to dedicate several hours a day. He can easily organize all his social media accounts in one place, efficiently plan and schedule his posts ahead of time, engage with his followers, understand the effectiveness of his efforts with powerful analytics, find new customers, and much more. In order to tell your business's story, simplify the process of managing your social media, and analyze results, sign up with eClincher today.
Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you back to the Exceptional Conservative Show live from the nation's capital. We certainly are not ashamed of the good news of conservatism. What is the power of liberation? First to the Republican and then the socialist. We have with us tonight Professor Tarik Oduno, and we are discussing the power of Nannie Helen Burroughs and what she meant to all of America. In a few moments, I want to talk with the professor about also Benjamin Banneker. Now, Professor, would you do me a great favor if you could speak up just a little bit louder because the ladies love your voice?
Yes. I would like to say that E.L. Harrison from the Shiloh Baptist Church, in writing in his 1956 book on the dream and the dreamer, he said in the beginning, if there were a young dreamer, Nannie Helen Burroughs was one.
Yeah.
She saw things and she heard things, not in a physical sleep, but in the quiet, restful moments of her meditation. From these moments, she woke imbued with a sense of responsibility. Let me repeat that. Responsibility, not rights only, but to be responsible for the rights that you are going to handle, and an obligation to do something about bringing her dream to pass. So she didn't just have one of these dreams and then get up and say, well, it's going to happen. She went to work. How did she go to work? Burroughs said a race rises on its own wings, or is held down by its own weight. A race rises on its own wings, or is held down by its own weight. That's a part of the 3 B's of education. But we're focusing on Nanny. Now, her sister Mary McLeod Bethune said, so often our difficulties have made us hypersensitive and truculent. We'll deal with the definition of that later on or off air.
Okay.
But we say that I want to see my people conduct themselves naturally in all relationships. And let me get to this thing about conservatism. We have something to conserve. What do we have to conserve? We have to conserve our integrity.
Yes.
We have to conserve our sacrifice. We have to conserve our patience. We have to conserve our discipline. We have to conserve our love, our joy, our peace. And guess what we have to conserve? We have to conserve the land that our people bequeath to us, or the land that we bought, because here in this country and anywhere in the world, it is the acquisition of property and the maintaining of property and the turning over from generation to generation to generation with the equity from real estate. Because when you have real estate, one of my friends, I'm digressing, James Meredith in Mississippi, his dad's by the name of Pat. He wanted to build a school. We're talking about conserving something. Since the other folks didn't want to build a school, guess what Pat did? He took a cow and some other things and put it up. And so he was able to build a 1-room schoolhouse and help with the people in the area to hire a teacher. That is being a conservative, doing for yourself, not looking for a hand out. You may negotiate every time, ever so often, as a tactic, a hand up, but not a hand out.
Exactly. Nanny Helen Burroughs is a special event going on this Saturday. Can you let everyone know in Washington, D.C. where that event is and what's going to take place?
Okay, at the event, it's roughly from the time of 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. There are going to be vendors, there are going to be health people, they're going to be, we're going to have some, you got to have some food.
Yep.
And they're going to be young people who are going to be walking their stuff and doing that stuff. As a matter of fact, they're going to be doing some hip-hop and some rap. They're going to be doing some high-end poetry, healing our people in the circle of life. They're going to be doing some reading contests where a reader is a leader who's a speaker, because readers lead, and we're not just talking about inside some pages of a book. When you read, that's an annual plant. That's a deciduous plant. That's a perennial plant. And since you eat food, you ought to have a percentage of your people who are planting your food. And let me show you this. It's some of the 12 things that we'll be discussing there at the Deanwood Center.
Yes.
In Northeast D.C. Those of you who are driving your cars, you can come out Minnesota Avenue to 4900 block there at the Deanwood Center. If you're riding the subway, you can get off at the Deanwood stop and walk right across the street. But this is what Nanny Helen Burroughs said. I think it's number 11. The average so-called Negro will have to come down out of the air. He is too inflated over nothing. And so what happens is we ought not to be arguing about whether we should have in the modern context. Because when Nanny Helen Burroughs set up her school, and I know we're racing ahead and we're racing against the time, but she said that Almighty God told her to have a school in the nation's capital and on a hill. They called her, and they had Booker T. Washington talk to her. They had Mary McLeod Bethune because they said you should do like Mary McLeod Bethune and Booker T. Washington, have your school out in the hinterlands, out in the country. She said, God didn't tell me that.
Mm-hmm.
In Washington, and her school is named the School of the Bible, Good Word, Clean Your Mind, the bathtub, clean your body and clean everything else in the broom, clean your house.
Mm-hmm.
She was also known for later on in life, because she was the secretary of the Women's Auxiliary in 1900 when she was 21 years of age, and she held that position all the way as a secretary until 1937, and in 1997 she became the president of the Women's Auxiliary of the National Baptist. And do believe me, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, but these women purchased property, 6 acres of property in northeast D.C., 52nd and what we call Nat, because Walter Washington established this commemorative day for May the 10th, 1975, 42 years ago, and Nanny's birthday is on the 2nd of May every year, 1879. So this is roughly the 138th year. And we're not talking about an individual woman. We're talking about a woman builder.
Exactly.
You know what happens with women builders, people out in our wonderful listening audience? They mobilized over 100,000 women. And out of that 100,000 women, they were able to organize 10,000 families to be able to build their land, their language, their culture, their identity, their purpose, and their direction. They were able to build, accept your own, and be yourself. Stop complaining as a complaining factory about other people and even about people within you. Go on and build. Build a dog house, a cat house, a dog house, build a tree house.
Build it.
Build something that when it's built, you see. And I shouldn't say this, and I'm paraphrasing this, and I hope I don't get into too much hot water, but turn it up.
Not on my network.
What we call civil rights was, is, shall be a curse. And for my belief in people out there in books, Almighty God always asks us to repossess the land.
Yes.
To have appropriate character. Let me read one of these 12 things that we should do for ourselves that Nanny Helen Burroughs asked us to do. Learn to put first things first, namely education, development of character traits, a trade, and home ownership. That's super conservative.
Yes, it is.
Stop expecting God and white folks to do for him or her what he or she can do for themselves. That's, you know what that's called? Accept your own and be yourself.
Personal responsibility.
Keep themselves, no doubt about it. Keep their children home clean and make surroundings comfortable and attractive. Dress more appropriately for work, business, and special occasions. And stop following all these styles, and especially when you are buying these things from some other people and you're not getting and equitizing your own resources and beginning your mini factories, because, you know, sometimes we have to start smaller, but it's best to start with and not to have man, and what that means for yourself. If you wear clothes, if you wear shoes, let me just say this right quick. As of 1910 census and the 1920 census, under the so-called name of color and Negro, we had approximately 15.75 million acres of land under our name.
Wow.
That's what you call conservative.
Wow.
Now, by the time 1960 census and 1970 census came along, as the statistical data says that we only had 2.75 million acres. And so if you really think that you have advanced quantitatively, we don't even need to talk about qualitatively, because you can look at 15.75 million acres of land with just some second or third grade arithmetic, you would see that we had a backslide, even when we take into account the 1930s depression.
Exactly. And Jim Crow. And Jim Crow.
No doubt about it.
Even
the beautiful thing about the the beautiful thing about Jim Crow is this, okay? There were people who were able to, let's say if we talk about North Carolina Central, right?
Yep.
Insurance company, right?
Yep.
If we look at and we talk about Gaston in Birmingham, Alabama, right?
Yep.
We are not lauding Jim Crow. We are saying that in a war, because that's what it is, a war on you spiritually, mentally, physically, snatch your land for you because you too busy running after ghosts. Run after something real. Run after land, language, and culture. Run after your identity, your purpose, and your direction. Run after your idea of what the Almighty God. Let's go to Genesis right quick, since we talked about conservative, right?
Go right ahead.
If we go to Genesis, we go to Genesis 2 and about 6 when they talk about the river system. There are 4 heads to the river system. One of the heads is shown. It passes through Havilah. The other one is Gihon. Opposites, or it passes through the whole of Ethiopia. The other is the Tigris and the Euphrates River. And so even if you look in Genesis 3, which appears to be another beginning, but what happens is that all those people who are being talked about are people who are considered other than what they said in this country, that you happen to be 60% of a human or 3/5. That's what they say. But Almighty God, through his risen Savior, said you run under Caesar. If Caesar wants to say that, Caesar don't say it.
Exactly.
Caesar's a politician. And you don't have to be so much concerned with who's in whatever house, because just like Ahab was, and there was an Elijah. And what happens is that anytime there are more difficulties, the wiser people who have planned and been conservative, why should you be making $100,000 a year, bring $80,000 home, and then you want to live in a $2.5 million house? That's how you got caught in the bubble.
Exactly.
But man, no, we're not saying that you shouldn't live in quality. You should live in quality in proportion, but you should strive to live at least 10 to 15%. But guess what? Train yourself to do that, because you were trained into conspicuous consumption. Before World War II, there was no such thing as no credit card on asking. You had to either put it on layaway or pay cash for it. So we need to take some of those principles, even though the methodology that we are to use in 2017. But back to Nanny Helen Brooks. And one of the things that was interesting that E.L. Harrison mentioned, and why am I mentioning about E.L. Harrison? I mentioned about him because he was a colleague of Dr. Walter H. Brooks, who was at the 19th Street Baptist Church where Nanny Helen Burroughs grew up. He was a pastor there from 1882 to 1945. And it is my hypothesis that he and some of these women who were over the young women at the 19th Street Baptist Church, at the Shiloh Baptist Church, at the Vermont Avenue Baptist Church, I'm talking about in Washington, D.C.,
yes,
as well as at the Metropolitan Baptist Church and others, they were the ones who were training those women. As a matter of fact, the young person who you hear talking to you now, Professor Tarik Oduno, we were taught about Nanny Helen Burroughs in the Vacation Bible School in the Live Baptist Church, and when we were 7, 8, and 9 years of age. And so they put it on our plate. And though I'm walking around a young man with a young power, and the beautiful thing about it is that It is the women builders, it is men builders who are family builders. Anytime someone comes in and asks you about, let me see what Nanny said here. Let me see, let's get the Nanny. Nanny said, improve their conduct in public.
Yes.
Learn to operate businesses for people and not for Negro people only.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Nanny Helen Burroughs was about living life in the real world, not in a false world and not in a biased and primitive opinion. She said, live life to the fullest. And you're right, the 12 things she told Negroes, the 12 things she told white people.
Yeah.
Those are important things that people need to read and know about her. Listen, the Deanwood Citizens Association and the Nanny Helen Burroughs Project invite you to celebrate Deanwood Day and the life and legacy of Nanny Helen Burroughs. You can join them at Deanwood Recreation Center, 1350 49th Street Northeast. So all my Washington download listeners, go to 1350 49th Street Northeast on Saturday, May the 20th from 9 to 3. You'll learn why the legacy of this pioneering educator, spiritual leader, and civil rights advocate is relevant today. And you'll be able to view DC history exhibits, shop for local vendors, music, food, fun, prizes for all ages. You need to be there. And ladies and gentlemen, I know on Saturdays you feel like you need to sleep in and your kids can go outside and play. You need to get them all together and you need to go to the Deanwood Recreation Center so that you all as a family understand what Nanny Helen Burroughs was all about. She was about the Bible, she was about the broom, and she was about the bath. She was about making certain that you cleaned house inside and out, that you cleaned your spirit up inside and out, and Lord Jesus, that you would put him first in your life so that you would not put everything else. Professor, it was a wonderful pleasure to have you on, and you'll be back. We got too much history for people to deal with and talk about.
We'll take care of Banneker. We take Banneker on the next round, and we just want to say that that acreage that those women purchased in 1909 is still under the auspices of the sons and daughters of Cush, the so-called daughters of Ham, because what other men and women have done, we too have done. Actually, we showed them we shall still do. Thank you, Brother Ken, and thank you, Colonel Wise, and thank you to Nanny Helen Burroughs project and the team. And we will see you. Don't meet us there. Beat us there to the Deanwood.
There you go. There you go. You should be standing in line. There you go. Thank you, Professor. God bless you, sir. It's a great joy and honor to have you on the air with us tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, listen, there is still so much more that we have to do in this particular program. The great professor, it was a tremendous honor having him here. Mamba, great to have you in our chat room. This is a big show tonight. Sir Mark the Bloviating Zeppelin will be joining us. But when we come back, I want to talk with you about not a conservative woman, but a woman who said a conservative thing. And my God, you might as well have just killed a dog because apparently she has stepped on the wrong toes in America. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back, and we'll be talking about the Miss USA pageant winner in our next round. We'll be right back with more of the best at Urban Conservative Talk. Please stay tuned.
Come on, Mr. Nunez, say it ain't so.
Hello, I'm Ron Edwards. On today's page from the Edwards Notebook, Representative Devin Nunez, please step out of the politically correct parallel universe you've gotten stuck in. You went to Americano's apologeticus decision to temporarily step aside as head of the Russian probe, pending the outcome of an outlandish, progressive-oriented ethics investigation. Sir, I know you said, quote, is in the best interest of the House Intelligence Committee and the Congress, unquote. But that makes about as much sense as saying that the Chucky Schumers of the world, Nasty Pelosi, and even Governor Snyder of Michigan have good intentions regarding America because those progressive globalists do not. Mr. Nunez, your clear and precise investigation had the crooked progressive Democrats shaking in their crappy boots. Oh, I understand that several left-wing activist groups have filed accusations against you with the Office of Congressional Ethics. It was done to prevent the American people from getting the whole truth about improper unmasking of the identities of U.S. citizens and other abuses of power. Such typical Republican style of rolling over and caving into the whims of deviant progressives is both stupid and dangerous for the Republic. I'm Ron Edwards. Sponsored by the Tri-County Liberty Coalition.
It's time for unity in America. I'm David Longoria, trumpeter and singer. Join me Saturday, May 20th as we celebrate the 19th annual White House Day of Prayer for our nation. The event's founder, Reverend Dr. Terry Lee of Brooklyn, brings many churches and organizations together for this special day where we, the people, will join together for prayer and uplifting and leave our politics behind. There will be leaders from across the country as well as artists singing and praying together for our people, our nation, and our leaders. I will be joined by a 1,000 voices choir as we perform my new song of unity, We Are One. Come to the White House lawn in the Ellipse Park Saturday, May 20th from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. with a special music hour at 3. Register now online for free at whitehouseprayer.org. That's whitehouseprayer.org.
Begin your mornings the right way with some right thinking from me, Perry Drake, your friendly neighborhood drive-by pundit. I want you to join me every Tuesday and Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern and 9 a.m. Central Time on the Exceptional Conservative Network. From politics to pop culture to relationships to whatever else is on your mind, we have a great deal to talk about. Join in and let's get the talking started.
The Bloviating Zeppelin. He's big-footed enough radio shows to last a lifetime, courtesy of Sean, Clint, Ken, and Jersey Joe. Now it's time for him to waddle on his own 2 feet via the glorious SHR media. Gird thy loins for the Bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon, coming soon to ossicles near you. Excelsior.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome you back to the Exceptional Conservative Show, live from the nation's capital. This is also the Exceptional Conservative Network, home to some tremendous programming. And we want to thank you so much for spending your time with us. I know some of you all are slightly concerned about a transition that is to take place. I spent an hour and a half this afternoon speaking with SHR Media pioneer and leader Sean Lewis. I know that you know Dan the Man Butcher from HP Pundit Radio. And I just want to take this time. I know I was going to talk about Miss USA, but I want to take this time to try to quell some concerns. Because a lot of things are going to get into the media that might be fake news. And I'd rather just deal with it right on board. I sent out a notification to those who we belong with, and we want to thank Red Nation Rising for carrying us at 2 a.m. on the Liberty Channel. Want to thank as well SHR Media for carrying us live on their network, and also want to thank the good folk at HP Pundit Media for always being there in partnership with us, and all the others that carry us on the network. But I sent out a notification to my good people here at the Exceptional Conservative Network last week. You smell good tonight? Oh, you go, man. Game 7 of, is that the Washington Wizards? I'm sorry, I digress. I sent out a memo to my good friends at SHR Media, Red Nation Rising, and as well HP Pundit, to let them know that as of July 2nd, I will officially be leaving their shows, their networks, and I will be going over to MoveOnUpToday.tv at InItLive.tv. And as well, I notified those who wanted to follow me there that they would have to apply, of course, and I would consider them moving over. And that, quite frankly, if you were going to follow me to moutoday.tv, ladies and gentlemen, you couldn't put the same material that you did on moutoday.tv on Facebook and Periscope and all the other social media. I want to ask you something. When Lou Dobbs does his show on Fox Business News, do you see it on Facebook? I know this is just a common sense thing. Do you see it on Facebook? No. Do you see Rachel Madcow, her stuff on MSNBC? Do you see it on Facebook or Twitter? No. You may see highlights and clips, but you don't see the whole thing. And so we're moving over to a subscriber-based programming. Now, you might be saying subscriber-based. Who does subscriber-based? Fox News does subscriber-based. MSNBC. When you pay for cable, you subscribe to their program. You don't know it, but you're doing it. And they get a portion of that. So I let everyone know, and maybe I didn't convey it well enough, but I'm sick and tired of seeing our artists come on the air, whether it's every morning or every afternoon or every night, and they do better than Fox News. They do better than any other cable network of it. The best commentary, the best news reporting, and I've heard it listening to these independent groups, and they don't have any advertisers, they don't have any sponsors, and they put their stuff out on Facebook, and people watch it for free, and they don't think that there is any. I know you might be thinking I'm greedy. I'm so greedy that I've been doing this for 8 years without any pay or anything of that particular nature. Okay, I do it because of the love of it. But you know what I'm really tired of? I'm really tired of these artists, great artists, who are expending all of their money, whether it's from their disability checks, like a certain gentleman from Vermont, from their payroll as a the former professor, Dr. Michael Jones, from his payroll and retirement benefits from the service. I mean, people coming out, and they're coming out of their pocket, and they are broke. Can I be real with you tonight? These folk are broke. Rachel Madcow speaks, and she gets $200 or $300 million a year, whatever. I'm just coming up with a fake number, but they get paid for fake news. And so what I said was, listen, let's move to subscriber base, because, quite frankly, maybe if we get 1,000 folk to come on board, we can put a little something. I'm not talking about we're going to feed your family for a lifetime off of this, but I'm talking about put a little something in your plate to pay for your cable, to pay for the technology that you're using, the software that you're using, to put together this marvelous work that comes on every single night with all these great guests. And I was misunderstood. I want you to know two things. One, all of my shows, there are 4 shows, I think, maybe even a 5th one, but all of my shows will be leaving those stations, and I have to take the greatest risk of everybody in order for this to be successful. Now, I know a lot of people are saying, hey, you ain't got to do that, Kenny, man. You ain't got to do that. You leave 1 or 2 shows behind. At least do the Exceptional Conservative show on it. No. If I don't take this risk, no one else will follow me. It's a risk that has to take place in order for us to change the mindset of how things are done. I don't mind being cursed out. I mean, I've been cursed out during sermons in a black church. So I don't mind being cursed out. I don't mind criticism. I don't mind any of that stuff. But what I do mind is seeing brothers and sisters who do this kind of stuff of high quality and great nature have to scramble to borrow from Peter to pay Paul back after they steal his wallet to give it to something to John or whatever, and trying to make ends meet, and at the same time want to do this stuff too. Don't you want a conservative news network? I'm tired of everybody talking about, well, you know what happened to O'Reilly. He's working on starting a conservative. We have one. The Exceptional Conservative Network. Will it be supported? It will be on you all to do that. But I want to make certain, and I'm talking about $9.99 a month. What does $9.99 cost you? Maybe a pizza? It don't even give you $9.99 won't give you a pizza anymore. It gives you like 2 slices. Now I've lost some people in the confusion because there are 2 options under the promotion TV. There is a premium channel, which I will take all my shows to. And then there is a free basic channel. Now, a lot of people misunderstand. They said, well Ken said, if you don't go with him, then you don't do nothing. And that's not what I said. This is what I said. There are 2 options. One, if you want to keep putting your stuff out there for free on Facebook and on Twitter and on all those other places for free, after you've done all this work, I can't explain this to my wife anymore. Can I be real with you? I can't explain this to my wife anymore. I know y'all can't explain it to some of y'all who are doing this. Y'all can't explain it to y'all family no more. Fake news people making a fortune, and for all those who want to keep putting their stuff out there for free, you can still be on MoveOnUpToday.tv under the Exceptional Conservative Network. This is how it works. You can film yourself doing your content, but you will not be able to participate in the profit sharing. Now somebody said, wait a minute, that's robbery. Man, I'm putting out the same stuff everybody else is, but it's free for everybody else. Why do I have to pay you? Can I get real? I'm sorry, that was one of y'all. Y'all should have started running right there. If you're going to give it to Facebook for free, why do I have to pay you? Can I get an amen from somebody out of the chat room? And then those who are willing to take the risk, and I know what's going to happen. It's a lot of people going to get upset. They're going to be mean-spirited. They're going to be angry. They're going to be offended. They're going to say, hey, you are this and that and the other, and quite frankly, I can't be with you no more. And that's fine. That's fine. But you know what I worry about? I worry about that man who comes on the air day in and day out to do his or her show. And then he has to go out late night and drive a cab so he can try to make one end meet the other. When I left, and Mary will tell you this, when I left Facebook the first time, I know I got to go to a break, but when I left Facebook the first time, I had 30,000 or more people who were friending me. And everybody said, it's going to be a struggle to get them back. And yeah, it is. And then everybody said, when you left Blog Talk Radio, you'll never have another audience like this. But I'm number 1 on SHR, and I'm number 1 on my own network. And wait a minute. Every time someone told me that I would never be as great as I would be, God always made me greater. So I'm just going to say this to you all. Find the truth before you start speaking the rumor or the innuendo. And on top of that, it's time for us to take conservative news and commentary to where it really needs to be. We can't get on AM stations because Rush Limbaugh and all the rest of them cover the whole day. So where are we going to go? How am I going to develop people? Ladies and gentlemen, the only way I'm going to do that is if I build a very successful conservative network. I ain't doing it for the money. I'm doing it because we need America to be free. We'll be right back with more of the best right after these messages. You're listening to The Exceptional Conservative Show, live from the nation's capital. And I am your host, the Exceptional One, Ken McClinton.
Good morning.
I'm Michael Wright.
And I'm Shannon Wright.
Okay, folks, that's not how it goes. I think I'm Shannon, and you're so. Michael.
Yeah.
Okay. We are The Right Way with Shannon and Mike.
Join us from 7 to 9 a.m. Eastern Time.
Live on SHR Media.
And on TECN.
where we'll be talking about all kinds of things.
From sports and politics,
The food and entertainment,
to money,
family,
and anything else in between.
community, holidays, all kinds of things.
It'll be great. Join us from 7 to 9 a.m. Eastern Time.
Hi, my name is Willie Lawson of The Willie Lawson Show here on the Exceptional Conservative Network. We have a brand new show on at 9 a.m. Monday through Friday. We are bound to make you think. We are bound to make you see things differently. We are bound to push you into action for not only your community, but your country. That's The Willie Lawson Show on the Exceptional Conservative Network, 9 a.m. Monday through Friday. See you there. Hi, my name is Willie Lawson of the
Willie Lawson, I'm back. This is the Exceptional Conservative Show, live from the nation's capital. Coming up, Bloviating Zeppelin. Sir Mark the Bloviating Zeppelin will be joining us. We'll be talking about a whole lot of stuff. But can I get y'all a konnichiwa? Konbanwa. Konbanwa. Konnichiwa. I want to just say this to you. Willie, you hear that voice, Willie Lawson? Willie Lawson is disabled. Willie Lawson had a major heart attack after the Florida State Arbor Day, and that was my boy, and he still is. And I was with him every step through that healing process. Do you know that man uses his disability pay to keep the lights on in the studio so that he can keep doing what he does, and then takes time out of his busy schedule to do these promos for us? Okay, and he does not do it at the DC rate. Do you know if you go into a studio to do a promo in DC, you have to pay $300? $300 to do a 30-second promo? And this man does it at cost for this network. Do you not think I'm thinking about that man at 4 o'clock in the morning when I go to sleep? Y'all ask why I'm up all night long? Because I'm working to make sure that brother gets some reimbursement. Ralph J. Chips just sent the last of his 4 children through college. Fired because he was a conservative. Do you not think I'm thinking about that brother when I'm doing my shows? I can go on. And it seems always the ones who are struggling the most, making the exact sacrifices. Mary Brockman, out of her retirement check, her small pension check, making donations to Shekinah Ranch. It seems to be the ones with the smallest amount making the greatest amount of sacrifice. Don't get me preaching up here. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back with BZ. And we thank you so much for listening to us on the Exceptional Conservative Show at the Exceptional Conservative Network. We will be right back.
The best late-night conservative talk show in America, TECS Radio. And listen, there are no people better on the air to give you the best in conservative talk than Sackhead Sean and Sackhead Clint. And we're working on the integration papers for a certain other guy who happens to work here too. For those who are tuning in around the world to the best late night conservative talk, TECS Radio. The best late night conservative talk show in America. In America. In America.
And in this web was a large, I'm pretty sure it was the biggest spider I've ever seen.
Shekinah Ranch is involved in helping youth through the snags along the pathway to adulthood. The last 8 years have created greater challenges. Having a president to parade perversion to our youth has generated the need for us to ramp up our character learning 100-fold. Today's youth are confused. Our goal is to give them a fresh understanding of creation, moral clarity, respect for authority. In short, restore absolutes and boundaries. Boys are born boys and girls are born girls. God's design. Right is right even when no one else is doing it. The Exceptional Conservative Network is underway to raise $10,000 to help advance this mission. Together, let's reverse the confusion aimed at our youth. Don't be a spectator. Go to our donation portal and make your financial contribution. Do it now. Your gift goes towards helping youth get clarity. Moral clarity. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want you all to know that Donovan Larkins, founder and president of Shekinah Ranch Youth Foundation, offers a sincere opportunity for you to protect children from molestation and sexual abuse and help abused children receive their healing. In addition, Pastor Larkins is joining forces with the Exceptional Conservative Network to raise awareness of the growing crisis of unresolved homicides, missing persons, and sex trafficking in urban America. Help us raise $10,000 to care for over 300 abused children at Shekinah Ranch this summer and put an end to the grief and necessary loss of life, unresolved homicides, missing persons, and sex trafficking. Go to the TECN homepage at theexceptionalconservativeshow.com and donate today. I wish you all would. Wish you really would. We're about to shut that down on June the 1st. We'll start something anew in the new year. But we really want you to support that particular move of God called Shekinah Ranch. We really would. We'll be right back with more of the best right after these messages. Christianity, conservatism, the Constitution, capitalism. Our amazing hosts at the Exceptional Conservative Network broadcast 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Go to theexceptionalconservativeshow.com right now. Join us in chat by clicking on the TECS tab, Bible Study tab, or TECN tabs. TECN, spreading the good news to the ends of the earth. We'll be back after these messages.
From the war front to the streets of our nation's capital, men of faith, Dr. Michael Jones, the underground professor, and Kenneth McClinton, the exceptional conservative, bring both constitutional gravitas and spiritual perspective on today's issues to the most influential Christian urban talk show, 9:05 p.m. Eastern, Thursdays. It's a new day on New Day, Black and Red.
You know what trips me out? People paying $50 a month to listen to Glenn Beck. $50 a month to listen, and Glenn Beck's not even conservative. Oh, I'm sorry. Welcome back to the Exceptional Conservative. I'm so sorry. I am so fired up from today. Y'all just don't know how fired up I am for all the abuse I've taken. But that's okay. I'm still standing. The Lord's still with me. And I refuse to have my people suffering. I'm a liberator. Ladies and gentlemen, you know on Monday nights, we have this wonderful gentleman from the California IA area come on and talk with us. He is certainly one of the most brilliant men I've run into. But that's not really saying much because I try not to run into too many men. But I'm just joking. He's a brilliant man and a very good friend. And I thank him so much for spending his time with us. He is the Bloviating Zeppelin from bloviatingzeppelin.net. Sir Mark the Bloviating Zeppelin with us. We will give him a lickety-split phone call right about here. Let's hope we get him. Mississippi to Mississippi. Good evening, Sir Mark the Bloviating Zeppelin. It is an honor and privilege to have you on the air with us tonight.
Well, thank you very much. It is an honor to be on your air tonight.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Much love to you. Listen, apparently we're finding out tonight that Donald J. Trump whispered a few codes to the Russians, and we're about to be attacked, and we're all going to die. And he should be impeached.
Well, I think perhaps it's time to go a little bit further than that. Perhaps I suggested he might want to be lined up against a wall and shot.
There you go. Go all in for it. Go in.
I
mean, why? You know, you're either in for a penny or in for a pound. You come out and say exactly what it is that you want to happen to Donald Trump. Why mince words?
Can you? I just want to ask you, and you've been covering for a long period of time all of this stuff, but is this just insatiable? This desire on the left to find a way to make everything evil about Donald Trump? Is it just? Have we reached a point where we finally say enough is enough?
Oh no, hell no! It's going to get bloody good from here. Do you think possibly that the American media maggots have reached down to the absolute lower levels? Ken. So sad, sir, so sad.
I'm so naive.
Have much lower to go. much lower to go. You got to give them credit. Here's the deal, and it distills down to nothing more than this, but I know where you're going with regard to the Washington Post.
Mm-hmm.
But here's what it distills down to. They are not yet in November 10th. They're way back at November 9th. They still can't wrap their heads around the fact that November 9th actually occurred.
Wow. But wait a minute. Wait a minute, BZ.
Really.
Wait a minute, BZ. But they got him dead to rights. He actually met with a Russian in the White House. Does that not qualify for impeachment?
Well, hell yes.
Oh my God!
Now it's funny you should say that. Let's look at some headlines, for example. I didn't know that you were going to go here, but because we mind melded apparently just seconds before you put me on the air.
Yeah.
Let me contrast in headlines, because somehow I thought you were going to go there, and by God you did, because GMTA. In any event, here's the headline from Washington Post. Trump revealed highly classified information to Russian foreign minister and ambassador. That was today's Washington Post, just stultifyingly, brain-glazing, breaking the headlines kind of news. And the first paragraph is, President Trump revealed highly classified information to the Russian foreign minister and ambassador in a White House meeting last week, according to current and former U.S. officials who said Trump's disclosures jeopardized a critical source of intelligence on the Islamic State. Okay. Who are the current and former U.S. officials? Well, it doesn't really say that. And it doesn't really tell you whether they're valid, whether they're people that have been trusted before, because generally before you use somebody, if you're a real journalist, you generally confirm something through someone by 3 discrete and separate sources. That's how a real journalist works. And basically, that's how an investigator works if you're working a crime. So that article, and the Washington Post decided that it was going to leak that information purposely today. But here's the deal, Ken. You've got to go down 7 to 10 paragraphs before you find the report that actually admits it's, quote, unlikely Trump broke any laws. As president, Trump has broad authority to declassify government secrets, making it unlikely that his disclosures broke the law, the report said. And then H.R. McMaster weighs in and says, and refutes that, and says, at no time were any intelligence sources methods discussed, and no military operations were disclosed that were not already known publicly. So this big, massive spread all across the Washington Post, and you would think that, oh, Christ, cracky, we not only have to impeach him, we literally must now at this point, we must line him up against a wall and shoot him. That's egregious.
Oh my God!
I mean, I'm looking at the Washington Post article right now. This is top of the fold information. This is what they made their bones on all day today. Was this article by a guy named Greg Miller and another guy by the name of Greg Jaffe? Why I'm giving you the names, I don't know. But this is what they're hanging their journalistic hat on again today. Impeach Trump. He's given the House away, and there's no there because he probably could do this, and it's unlikely that he actually revealed classified information. Yet the headlines, Ken, are screaming.
But wait a minute, BZ. We got this guy. We got him dead to rights simply because.
Oh hell yes, you do.
It could have been collusion that brought the Russian to the White House to photograph without anybody else around, and that's when the codes were given. You see this whole thing working out, right? It all lines up, doesn't it?
I'm going to reveal on your show right now highly classified information that I have not yet revealed to anyone else, including the Washington Post. You said that the Russian officials came in today to do that.
Well, last week. Yeah.
They came in today.
Yeah.
I hope everyone is listening. I hope everyone is sitting down. Here's how the Russian officials came in today. On a Tupolev. There you go. Classified information that no one else has and no one else has written, certainly not the Washington Post.
Now,
I'm doing it just for you, out of love for you.
Thank you, because you're doing something that the Washington Post doesn't do, and that's real journalism. Yep. There you go.
That's right. They did not tell you the Russian officials got here. I just told you. Okay, you heard it here first. Ken breaks news left and right.
Left and right. BZ, we're talking with Sir Mark the Bloviating Zeppelin from BloviatingZeppelin.net. If you're not reading BloviatingZeppelin.net, you're probably listening to Glenn Beck, which is another character flaw in your ointment. But really, when we're looking at all of this stuff, when we look at the fact of the matter that, and I'm not a cheerleader for Donald Trump in the least bit. I will tell you when he isn't right. But certainly, unemployment is down. People are more willing to spend money now. You have immigration, illegal immigration down. You have the stock market up. People are a little bit more excited about patriotism in our country. Why are we knuckleballing all of this right now to focus on the idea that someone sneaked into the White House to take a picture of Donald Trump and he happened to be from Russia? What is all of this about?
Ken, I'm sure you probably saw this on either, I don't remember the day this came out. It came out either Friday, maybe Thursday, Friday, or Saturday. This past Thursday, Friday, or Saturday.
Yeah.
You may or may not have seen it. CNN thought this was a story. Donald Trump gets 2 scoops of ice cream to everyone else's 1 scoop of ice cream. And is that, Ken, is that not a scoop in and of itself?
It's already a scoop because it's a scoop. It's a scoop.
Yes, it is. That's the state of journalism today. And I go back, I truly do go back to this. And I'm with you. I say that if there's one thing that I wish would occur with Donald Trump is, number 1, put Twitter the hell down. Mm-hmm. Number 2, take a big cup of shut the hell up and do your job, because he's being striated in the same way that Obama was, only it's a 180 reverse. And what do I mean by that? Mm-hmm. What I mean is, as he left, Obama's poll numbers, if you recall, were stellar. They were skyrocketing. His policies were crap, and they were in the tank. Mm-hmm. Now, do the reversal. Would it not be logical to say that Donald Trump's poll numbers are in tank but his policies are beneficial, and they're doing positive things. So I'm just like you. Donald Trump, he's frequently a flake, but despite this, he's having the Donald Trump effect in terms of somehow, through all these constant battering rams of falsehoods, allegations, being there, shite is actually getting done. It's actually getting done. And the economy is benefiting. People are benefiting. The stock market is benefiting. Bubble or not, doesn't make any difference. And here's the funny thing. Everyone says the stock market, I don't know, perhaps I've not listened, and Melanie has made this statement before. When people say the stock market booms, it busts, etc., and only the biggies are on the stock market, no, that's wrong. That's absolutely wrong. If you're a government employee, you're invested in the stock market. If you're a teacher and a member of a union, any union, you're invested in the stock market. If you're a private individual, you're probably invested in the stock market because, you're invested in the stock market. All sorts of unions, all sorts of agencies, all sorts of businesses, their investments, etc., are in the stock market. So when the stock market benefits, we all benefit.
We all benefit. Exactly.
To say that only the biggies benefit from a good stock market, bubble or not, doesn't make any difference. No. You benefit, Ken. I benefit. Yes, the biggies benefit. So why would you want to shoot down the stock market? Because when you do that, you don't just hurt the biggies, you hurt everybody.
Exactly.
And I have still never acquired the reasoning behind that. Yeah, okay, you hate the bad guy, you hate capitalists, money's bad, greed is evil, blah, 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 blah. Without it, we'd all go down the toilet. It's as simple as that.
It is. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking with Sir Mark the Bloviating Zeppelin tonight from the Berserk Bobcat Saloon on SHR Media at 11 p.m. Eastern Time. Forgive me, 8 p.m. Pacific. When we come back, I want to talk with him about his favorite viewing program from the weekend, the Miss USA pageant, and how you can actually lose the crowd by winning the crown. We'll be right back with more of the best right after these messages.
With home values up and interest rates near all-time lows, you probably know that now is a great time to refinance, like the Johnsons, who saved $436 a month.
$436 a month?
It's simple. Just go to LendingTree.com, compare loan offers for free, and see how much you could save in just 5 minutes.
I thought you said the bank gave you the best rate.
Yeah.
Lending Tree. When banks compete, you win.
I have to do everything myself.
Hi, my name is Christopher Arnold. I'm the executive chef of Infused Restaurant, and today I'm going to walk you through some of the meals that we prepare here. We're making a pizza. We use fresh Italian sausage that we cook here and slice it up. Our pizza dough is in-house made. Our pizza sauce is in-house made. So everything is fresh and ingredients. This is our Thai curry chicken. The sauce is made with coconut milk and the Thai red curry. It is juicy chicken thighs as well as some mixed vegetables, served with jasmine rice and pita bread. So now we're going to prepare our famous blackened tilapia and grits, our fish and grits on the menu. Once the fish is ready, then our meal will be complete. Let me tell you about our infused beef burgers. When we kick the spice up just a little bit with our infused sauce. We start off with 80-20 USDA round chuck ham patty burgers, like half a pound of burgers, and we're going to grill it to perfection.
after I put the burger, we add the sauce and let it cook on into the meat just a little bit. We're gonna add a little bit of pepper jack cheese to this burger to spice it up a bit.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not saying this from personal experience. It's what I've heard. 6339 Allentown Road, Temple Hills, Maryland. I hear that they have great food. And me being a dietitian, a man who doesn't like to eat a lot, you know, I'm a salad kind of guy. I tend not to go to places like Infused Restaurant where they have this huge burger called the Exceptional One with 2 whole pounds of beef, 8 strips of bacon, any cheese you want on any size bread you want, and you put any of the fixings on that you want. But I'm not that kind of guy. But if you're that kind of guy, 6339 Allentown Road is the place that you want to go. You can also go there for the vegetarian stuff that my wife likes, but it's up to you. I prefer vegetarian stuff too. You understand what I'm saying, BZ. I'm not the kind of guy who eats that kind of unhealthy, huge burger. It's grilled and sauced up and everything. Not me.
No, it's terrible. It's terrible. Except I was born a carnivore, and I knew this because I have one feature that herbivores mostly don't. I have teeth.
Yeah, you go. Once they come in, it's all over. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Exceptional Conservative Show. Coming up at 9:45 this evening, we will be talking with none other than Talitha McEachin, who will be the new hostess of TECN.BIZ. But we are sitting and talking with none other than Sir Mark the Bloviating Zeppelin. So glad to have him here with us tonight. Listen.
Ken, I have a question for you.
Sure.
It's a highly important question.
Mm-hmm.
Did you hear what Miss USA, Kara McCullough, actually said?
I think she told all the poor black people who are on welfare to go get a job. Isn't that what she said? That's what she said, right? Because that makes her conservative.
That's it.
No, that's not exactly what she said. I want you all to know that's not exactly what she said. But I swear to God.
No. If you said it, I believe it.
Oh, my God.
You just said it. I believe it.
But the way it's been reported, it could have sworn that she beat her child from Africa who had a swollen belly on stage for wanting to eat. You know what I'm saying?
Well, let me tell you what I actually heard, and this was told to me by leftists. She didn't just stop there. She beat small Biafran children, and then she set kittens on fire.
As she was juggling them.
Yes, as she was juggling them, and then she stepped into an H1 Hummer, a diesel H1 Hummer, and put it in park and just floored the throttle so the entire auditorium was filled with diesel smoke. That's really what she did.
She is such an evil woman, I tell you. Oh, my goodness. But apparently she is a physicist or scientist with the U.S. government. And she was stating that health insurance is not a right. It's a privilege. And that in order to make sure that you have coverage, it requires that you get a job. That's the best way to do it. But I could have sworn like she had said something about Obama's mama up there. Apparently, it was enough to make certain that people from New York to L.A. in the next morning's paper were judging her as being an elitist, someone who didn't have feelings of care for the poor. And that goes back to what we were talking about in the first segment here. It's an intolerable condemnation of individuals who have an opinion outside of Bernie Sanders.
Okay, I'm going to need you to go back and tell me that again, because I think you said that she said that health care is a privilege and not a right. And after you said that, my head got light, I swooned, and I fell back onto my fainting couch. And after that, I didn't hear a... I'm not sure that you actually did say that.
Oh my God! I am so very sorry. I have probably upset everyone who's ever been related to Franklin Delano Roosevelt. But simply, I agree with the woman. The Miss USA, Ms. McCullough, I agree with her. It is not a natural right to have health insurance. Just like it's not a natural right to have eggs from the store. It's not your right to have them. It's a privilege. That's what capitalism is for. Oh my God.
Would someone who's in D.C. listening right now, would you go over to Ken's house, knock on his door, as he answers, put your hand to his forehead, and see if he's feeling okay? I could have sworn again that he said that he supports Miss USA calling healthcare a privilege and not a right.
Yes!
So someone needs to go to Ken's house and take his temperature and see if he's feeling okay.
I said it, and I'm not taking it back. I am not taking it back. It is a privilege. It's not a right. And I am really ashamed of what the media did to her. First and foremost, Miss DC, she's from the District of Columbia. Oh my goodness, which is proving that once again, all the beautiful women happen to be in Washington, D.C. Except for Mary Brockman. In addition to that, she mentioned merely common sense things. You don't have to be conservative to understand. This is just pure common sense. You get a job, you get health care. You get a job, you get paid. It works that way. What a sorry plight it is to be a journalist in America. Well, are there any more? I don't think so. I want to talk with you tonight about an article on your site called Hillary Out to Enrich the Clintons Once More. And what are you talking about, sir? Hillary Clinton trying to enrich herself. Don't you know she was broke when she got out of the office?
Well, yes. She was broke when she left, when she and Bill left the White House in '98, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
And they were flat broke, completely broke. The mansion that they bought about 20 miles away, bordering the Atlantic Ocean, that was just a good fortune. They happened to find a seller for that, who sold it to them for $500. And so, you have to take it, really, because if someone's going to give you that kind of a thing, and you really do have to. But every once in a while, the cards are in the right place. But when they left, the Clintons were absolutely destitute, completely destitute. And we know this because that's what they told us.
That's exactly right.
They would never lie to us. Yes, that's exactly right, Ken. Thank you for emphasizing that. Then this evil article occurred in NTK Network, which is a place I don't really go very frequently, but I happened to find this. And it was an article that says Hillary Clinton launches unlimited dark money group. Well, that doesn't sound potentially very good to me. And especially, Ken, listen to the stilted tone in which they start this article. Frankly, I think it's terrible. Two-time failed presidential candidate Hillary Clinton officially launched a new organization on Monday, today, called Onward Together, with the stated goal of, quote, advancing the vision that earned nearly 66 million votes in the last election. Put more bluntly, the group's mission is to advance Clinton's agenda, which was unable to defeat Donald Trump, he of the dead orange cat sitting on top of his pate. So it's interesting. Now she's decided that this particular foundation...
Oh, my God! Another foundation!
This is a foundation. Well, you know, Ken, Obama has his own foundation, and would it shock you? I hope you're sitting down. Wait, I'm going to go over to TECN right now. And I'm going to look at you. Okay, there you are. Okay, good. You are sitting down. I see the dead clock above you, and you are sitting down. Thank God, because I'm afraid that you are going to swoon when I tell you this.
Listen, BZ. That time is right somewhere in the world.
Well, that's true. That's absolutely true. But the funny thing about that article about the new foundation, well, Obama's foundation is called the Obama Foundation. That was tough to suss out. It really was. But looking at this Onward Together website, the devil's in the details, so I had to go down. I had to get through all the print and all that kind of stuff. Get down to the bottom, and it says, quote, "Contributions or gifts to Onward Together are not tax deductible as charitable contributions or as business deductions." And it says they are a 501c4 organization. Now, Ken, you're a highly intelligent guy. I know it. And I know you have history in the tax business, and you're a very smart guy when it comes to taxes, etc. What do you know, sir, about something called a 501c4 organization?
That it's not tax deductible. I know that.
Right.
It's a foundation.
Right. And can I tell you the best part?
What's the best part, sir?
Well, actually, there's two best parts for you, Ken. Again, I hope you're sitting down. Oh, good, you are. Okay. Number one, there's no limit as to the money you can give to her. Number two, your donors don't have to be disclosed.
No, that's not true. That's not true.
Isn't that brilliant?
No, because Hillary said that that's not the kind of thing she wanted. She wanted Donald Trump's donors to be well lit and known. And quite frankly, she wanted to be transparent in giving. And she wanted the money from the little people, not the big people. So I don't know where you're coming up with this fake news on Hillary Rodham Clinton being... you're actually accusing her of lying.
Well...
which would be a first.
You've got me there. You really do. You have to. All right. But it's funny. Dark money. Didn't she go on and on?
Yes, she did.
On and on throughout her career. And she was a two-time loser. Hello, L, loser. I'm doing this on my forehead. It's a TV thing, but I'm putting the L to my forehead right now. Loser. And she said all along, no dark money for her. And then all of a sudden she decides she's all in for dark money. Now, is that not a wonderful thing? Well, and we have to expect it, because it really is a good thing for her, because the Clintons, they're not making any money. They have historically never made much money, more than maybe $100 or so on speeches that they've given.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And hardest working people in America.
The books they wrote didn't sell, and they didn't get any kind of an advance on them. So, they need the money. They really do. So I can understand her going there. I really can.
Dark money. Actually, a lot of liberals were up in arms about dark money coming from Senator Ted Harvey and his committee to defend the president, Donald Trump, and other organizations out there. On the conservative side, and remember all the comments about the Koch brothers and
the Cook brothers. They are evil, but the cool thing about the Cook brothers is they're not just evil once; they're evil twice. See, isn't that great?
That's absolutely wonderful. Listen, in terms of a lot of things that are coming up over the horizon. There is one thing that is coming up that I wanted to get your comments on. And
Freedom Fest.
Freedom Fest would be nice. But actually, it's the judges who are weighing the immigration policies, the travel ban. And apparently, they haven't made a ruling just yet, the 3-judge panel. They're weighing the executive order, but is this going to the Supreme Court, sir? And why?
Well, here's something, again, Ken, I'm doing this because I love you, sir. I'm, again, going to reveal information on your
classified
right
information
now that has not, it's heretofore unrevealed. Did you know that there's a guy named Neil Katyal, and he's on the Ninth Circuit, and he said, if Donald Trump can make the statement that Islam is peace, he can have his travel ban.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh, they're just giving away these judges. What crackerjack box do I have to get in order to become a judge?
I don't know. Isn't that pretty cool, though? That's wonderful. So this guy named Neil Katyal, he makes an oral argument for maintaining the injunction against President Donald Trump's executive order, which, you know, is alleged to ban migrants from just every Muslim community and nation across the planet. And he makes this argument before the Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit. And then he says that, hey, he can have his ban, and he won't speak against him if all he'll say is Islam is peace.
Wow.
You know, Donald Trump just has to take him up on that one immediately, don't you think?
You know, if he had a communications department, he probably would.
That's right.
and
well, Ken, it's the truth.
I know. And I want to say this to Sean Spicer. I really enjoyed you in the first 3-4 months of the year. You're really, really great. It's unfortunate that the media didn't appreciate your talent and skills. So sorry to see you go. Even though you're not gone yet, but it seems that way. Want to get your final thoughts, sir, in terms of your show for tomorrow, because you do know that you have a show on SHR Media.
Well, I do. You know, I've heard say that I have 2 shows a week on SHR Media.
Really?
And it's, yeah, that's what I've heard.
Okay, hold one second. Hold 1 second, because that's breaking news. We got to play music or something for breaking news. Wait a minute. Where's the music? All right.
Okay.
There we go. Breaking news, everyone. Yes, sir. Wow.
I'm on every Tuesday and Thursday from 8 p.m. until 11 p.m. That's the left coast time. And 11 p.m. to 1 a.m., a horrible time for anyone on the East Coast. Absolutely horrible. But the good buttery thing about that is, Ken, can I tell you? Yes, I can. Thank you.
Yes, you can.
Is that you can listen to me live, and you can listen to me on podcast. But wait, there's more. I missed Pat Dollard last Thursday, and he sent me a vast spray of 22 red roses to my area in the Sierra Nevada mountains earlier today, and he says, I am so sorry, I will be there on your show Thursday night. So, folks, if you want Pat Dollard get all worked up about Donald Trump, and because Pat Dollard, he's such, he stays in his show, and he doesn't really tell you much, and he doesn't tell you what he really thinks, and I'll do my best to coax some information out of Pat Dollard this Thursday.
Looking forward to it.
Oh, and I'm on BloviatingZeppelin.net. Thanks for reminding me of that, Ken.
Exactly, because that's what I'm here for. Consummate professional promoter. CPP.
You are. Yes.
Not to be confused with CPT. Thank you. Samara Zeppelin with us tonight. God bless you, sir. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me on your air, and God bless you. Take care, sir.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back with Talitha McEachin right after these messages.
FBI's investigation of Secretary Clinton. What I want to do is tell you what we're recommending. But first, let me tell you what we found 110 emails, 52 email chains have been determined to contain classified information.
What difference at this point does it make?
8 of those chains are top secret, 36 of those chains secret, and 8 contain confidential information.
What difference at this point does it make?
Everything I did was admitted. There was no law, no regulations.
Secretary Clinton should have known that an unclassified system was no place for that conversation.
I did not email any classified material to anyone on my email.
None of these emails should have been on any kind of unclassified system, not even Gmail.
First of all, nothing was marked classified.
To the contrary,
Nothing was marked classified.
there is evidence that
Nothing was marked classified.
Now let me tell you what we found.
Oh my God.
110 emails.
It was not the best choice.
52 email chains.
It was a mistake.
It was determined to contain classified information.
What difference at this point does it make?
8 of those chains are top
Was the
secret.
best choice.
36 of those chains
I said
secret.
it was a mistake.
8 contain confidential information.
What difference at this point does it make?
With respect to our recommendation, this is going to be an unusual statement in at least a couple of ways. Although there is evidence, our judgment is that no reasonable prosecutor would bring such a case. I know there will be intense public debate. I know there will be intense public debate. I know there will be intense public debate. What difference at this point does it make? 110 emails.
It wasn't the best choice.
52 email
I made
chains
a mistake.
determined to contain classified information.
What difference at this point does it
8
make?
of those chains are top
Not a
secret.
good choice.
6 of those chains
I said it was a mistake.
and 8 contain confidential information.
What difference at this point does it make?
Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you back to the Exceptional Conservative Show live from the nation's capital. Yeah, we're taking an extraordinary step because I want to introduce and present to others a young woman who is taking on the challenge of working with me in terms of the business network, TECN.BIZ. I want to introduce to some, present to others, the great writer and great commentator.
Hello?
Good evening. It is Talitha McEachin with us tonight, live from Georgia, A. It is so good to have you on the air with us tonight, and so glad. I am grateful to have to introduce you as the new hostess of TECN.BIZ and your business show that will be coming on Tuesdays and Thursdays from now on from 4 to 6 p.m. God bless you, and thank you so much for being on with us.
God bless you too, and thank you, Kenneth. I'm honored and I'm humbled. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now, for those of us who don't know Talitha McEachin, you might remember that she was one of the panelists on my program many times, and as well is a consummate writer extraordinaire. Apparently, you write in your sleep. Is that true?
Well, sometimes it feels that way. I get up very early to write, and yeah. So
Awesome. Tell everybody why you are interested in being the great hostess of a very prolific site called TECN.BIZ.
I have a passion for writing about social issues and political issues, and particularly the way in which social issues, the sort of symbiotic relationship, if you will, that it has with economic issues in particular. So that is a passion of mine. I talk about it a lot on social media and on my own blog, in my writings that I've done for plenty of other websites. So this is a new step, of course, doing my own radio show. I've been a guest on many shows before. So this is another bigger and better outlet to reach more people and discuss these issues. A lot of people have been in my corner, like, I want to hear more, and they can hear me talk about it or whatever, and eventually, hopefully, in the future, see me rather than just read social media postings or read my blog and whatnot. So it's kind of the writer turned, I guess, radio or live, or so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I'm very excited about that. And I have so many people in my corner who are very excited about it, too.
I think
who
that's
want to hear,
awesome.
who want to interact, and all of those things. But I'm known for my very bold commentary. And polite. I don't bite my tongue.
Yeah. And that one of the reasons why you accepted this post is because we agree on everything. Isn't that right, Talitha?
Oh, sure.
Now,
never a disagreement.
Never a disagreement between us. Never. No, but this is one of the
my unique friend. Never disagree. We never disagree.
Never. Yeah, we do. And
Kenneth, I mean, it's really a blessing. I've been, just to show you how long, I mean, Kenneth, I've been, I guess, on your show many times, but even like as far back as I can remember right now, even the whole George Zimmerman, Trayvon Martin thing, and even before then, it's been a while.
Yes.
Yes.
But the reason why I wanted you to be one of the hostesses, and you will have a show on TECN.BIZ, and you will also be on TECN.BIZ at the exceptionalconservativeShow.com, so you'll be in two spots. People will listen to you. Is number one. I want Christian content. One of the biggest problems that we have in America is a certain degree of obnoxious intolerance for Christianity. And to have women of God be able to project an opinion, whether they agree or disagree with me, that's what I'm looking for. In addition to that, I've watched your writing. I've read your writing. We've been in debate with one another on many matters, and you hold your own, and that is a most egregious thing for me, but very beneficial for everyone else. You do a tremendous job. Now, in doing this business programming, what are some of the things you're looking to do with the business news? Hopefully, it's not just read the Washington Times daily table to everybody. What are some of the things you're wanting to do?
No.
Stock market up 5 points. Thank you.
And it's interesting because just a few months ago, not long ago, on my blog I talked about economic issues because some people ask me, well, we want to talk about the economic issues and things more. People always get really hyped up about the social issues and everything that's the thing they respond to. So I talked about that and talked about the way in which, to some extent, a lot of people are either intimidated by economic issues. I think they got to be a numbers cruncher or this, that, and the other. And it's not like that. But again, like I said, it's intertwined with social issues. And I really want to talk about the economy and the spiritual issues that impact our daily lives in such a way that, anybody can participate in the dialogue and anybody can understand, I just think a lot of ignorance is just due to just ignorance of the economic things. So people don't understand quantitative or qualitative easing, or different issues, or the debt ceiling and things like that. Until, of course, Republicans don't want to, increase the debt ceiling, and then it's all over things. Well, they're keeping this from happening, or this, that, the other. So it's interesting. So I'd like to not necessarily introduce those issues per se, but to really just talk in a way to involve any layman's person.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
And I think that the people have to really to get involved more with that, because I think to some of the social issues are a distraction.
Yes.
In today's I guess language, there was fake news is what it's called. So they get so distracted by a lot of that stuff. And I really believe that some social issues are used as a distraction to keep us away from the physical ones. Exactly. So I want to focus on that and focus on how it's intertwined with the social issues and that sort of thing. So I do have a passion for talking about wealth in the Black community and why things are the way they are and what we can do about it to increase, I guess, awareness on a lot of the fiscal issues and whatnot, and understand it and move forward in how we can build upon that. So the Black community is my community. Human community is my community. So to me saying the Black community is my community, I'm not excluding anyone, but please know that anyone under the sound of my cyber voice. But that is part of our passion to reach out to communities who are disparaged or who are disproportionately affected by economic issues. As the saying goes, as is colloquially expressed, when America has a cold, the Black community has a flu.
Exactly. Exactly.
So that's part of my focus too, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And we just, I'm looking forward to breaking down seemingly complex economic issues, and we just going to talk about it.
Exactly. I'm looking forward to you starting, and you'll be starting with us on next Tuesday, in fact, on our network, and we'll be working some things out along the way. And it is, first and foremost, I want to make certain that everyone knows there is no way in possibility that anyone could ever replace the great Melanie Colette, Money Talk with Melanie. This is not what that is. This is not a replacement. We both love her sincerely.
Not at all.
Exactly. Her shoes are always too great to fill. But we're going to do a new thing. And we hope that you will tune in and enjoy it. And I hope that you garner a great deal from this tremendous writer and just a wonderful woman of God, Talitha McEachin. I want to thank you so much for being with us tonight and allowing me to introduce you to the world. I look forward to working with you starting tomorrow, getting prepared.
Thank you so much, Kenneth. Thank you so much. I'm really humbled by it. Thank you so much. I've enjoyed working with you over the years. I look forward to the future. Thank you.
Thank you so much. God bless you, Talitha McEachin. And Mary Brockman says that you are not friends on Facebook. You're
Mary Brockman?
Mary Brockman. Mary Brockman is my bouncer. If you diss her, you diss me, you will be dismissed. So Mary
sent me a friend request.
There you go. Send a friend request, and everyone else who's listening on our network, send her a friend request right now.
Absolutely.
And she will open the doors and befriend you accordingly. Talitha McEachin,
come on. Yes.
We love you dearly. Thank you so much for joining the TECN family. God bless you.
You too, brother.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Talitha McEachin. I want to let everyone know, because I got 30 seconds before I go to break. Melanie Colette, we love you. We pray for your overall success wherever you go in life. You are a tremendous talent, a tremendous woman of God, and you have a wonderful and great future ahead of you. I pray you nothing but success, and I hope the very best in everything you set your hands to, because you deserve it, and you are a tremendous, tremendous woman of God. God bless you, woman. We will be right back right after this break, and I will let you free for the evening.
From day's first light till night's last glimmer, your satisfaction is our responsibility. On the range or in the field of duty, you can rely on Brownell's lifetime guaranteed gun parts, tools, and supplies. Anytime, any place. It's how we've done business since 1939. Brownell's.
With home values up and interest rates near all-time lows, you probably know that now is a great time to refinance, like the Johnsons, who saved $436 a month.
$436 a month?
It's simple. Just go to LendingTree.com, compare loan offers for free, and see how much you could save in just 5 minutes.
I thought you said the bank gave you the best rate.
Yeah.
Lending Tree. When banks compete, you win.
I have to do everything myself.
Someone is sleeping.
Human by race, Christian by faith,
American by nationality, conservative by choice. It's Reverend Ralph Chittum's The Right Guy on the Exceptional Conservative Network from 4:05 to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. The Right Guy on TECN.
Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you back to a frenetic show, if there ever was one. I am uniquely thankful to Professor Oduno for being with us tonight and talking about Nanny Helen Burroughs. Want to remind everyone to go to the Deanwood Recreation Center Saturday, May the 20th, so that you could be a part of that great celebration of Nanny Helen Burroughs. Also, and if you all are having a problem with getting her on Facebook, just message her. Just message her, and I will make certain that that's taken care of for you, that you become a part of her family, and she become a part of ours. In addition to that, I also want to encourage people to go to bloviatingzeppelin.net. Bloviatingzeppelin.net is one of the best writing sites that you will ever read. Sir Mark is just awesome, simply awesome. Tomorrow night, Janice Hall will be joining us for the J. Hall World Report. We'll figure out who's coming on tomorrow night. We're working on it. But as a matter of fact, I want you always to remember this. God bless America. It's time for America to bless God. We will see you tomorrow night, God willing. Good night. And, of course, may the Lord be before you in everything you say, think, and do.